YouTube vinyl community, Beach Boys love you fans, random people on the internet. My name is Giggens, and we're here today to talk about something that I've kind of mulled around for a while now. And in terms of this video, it's a bit of a stretch, but I saw some correlations there, so I thought I'd give it a try. But this video is about the similarities between the Beach Boys Love You and Smile. And the reason why I brought this up is because this album in particular was the first time that Brian had done a project pretty much completely on his own since Smile. Obviously, he was involved with almost all of their albums between Smile and the Beach Boys Love You, but in terms of him being like 100% in charge, I'm doing everything, this is my project, this was kind of the first time since Smile. So, as we know, being Beach Boys fans with how Smile, what went down with that, Brian was fully 100% in charge. He was writing the music, he was co-writing the lyrics with Van Dyke Parks. He had the guys come in and sing on top of it, and that was the ballgame. That's how it went down. He was in charge 100%. With the Beach Boys Love You, this started life as a solo album, and he plays 99% of the instruments on it. In terms of the Brian Wilson project, this is even more so than Smile was. So, that correlation kind of struck with me as how these are two projects where Brian was fully committed 100% from start to finish. This was his whole ballgame. Something else I noted was that, and again, this one's also a bit of a stretch, but after Smile didn't come out, they put out Smiley Smile and Wild Honey, but the next year, 1968, when Friends came out, that was an album inspired by meditation, and the year after Beach Boys Love You came out, 1978, MIU album came out, which was recorded at the Maharishi Institute, a meditation, center. So, some correlation between the albums that came out after this. The record companies did not promote these things very well. During the time of Smile, it was taking way too long to make, and Capitol got tired of waiting, basically, and it's kind of lost interest and lost steam, and the project fizzled out. With the Beach Boys Love You, Warner Reprise knew that they signed with CBS, and so their contract was going to end anyway, and they weren't really feeling the album anyway either, so they didn't promote it at all, which is a shame because it could have done really well for itself had it been promoted. So some correlation there. They've also got very unique sounds that don't pop up in other Beach Boys material, and I say that because on Smile, you have the culmination of what Brian had been doing at that time in the 60s, and getting music that's mysterious, joyous, optimistic, heartbreaking, but all in that grandiose mid-60s Brian way. On the Beach Boys Love You, you get these very synth-heavy tracks with really interesting rhythmic patterns on the drums, something he'd always been into. And whereas with Smile, most of it's a very outward experience of looking at the world around you and seeing what's happening as you travel across America. On the Beach Boys Love You, it's very much an inward experience. So they're complete opposites in that respect, but they're both from Brian's imagination, so that's kind of cool. After these albums came out, or in this case, didn't come out, Brian's input on further albums was always a little bit minimal. And I say that loosely because after Smiley Smile, Wild Honey, which Brian was definitely on a lot, he was also a lot on Friends. Not so much in 2020, and definitely really there a lot for Sunflower. After this album came out, after Love You came out, with MIU and the LA album, his input started to wane a little bit. They brought him back a little bit more for Keeping the Summer Alive, but it's interesting how both of these projects had a 100% fully devoted Brian, and then subsequent albums his interest petered out again. Sadly too, Brian, after this album, he really got into good shape again. In the summer of 77, he had slimmed down a lot. He cut most of his hair off. He was looking pretty good. And then he got right back into his addictions again, which is a hard thing to break. And so, that happened. And right after Smile, he got heavily into his addictions again too. So, that tragically has a correlation there. But, yeah, that's kind of it. Just a quick video about comparing these two. I really see a lot of similarities in terms of what they brought to the table and how Brian's life was affected by these albums and their either release or release or non-release, and his position in the band, what the guys thought of it. I don't know much about how Mike felt about the Beach Boys' "Love You." I haven't read too much of his arguments about it, if he said he liked it or didn't like it. We know how he feels about "Smile." Al has said in recent interviews that he loves the Beach Boys' "Love You." He'd love to do a tour just playing this album. So we know now at this time that he really enjoys it. But at the time, I'm not sure how much he was really into it. He may have been into it, but I don't know. So that's it. Super quick video comparing "Love You" to "Smile." I see a lot of similarities there. Curious to hear your thoughts, and let me know what you think. My name is Giggens. Thank you so much for watching. This has been "Smile" and "Love You" by the Beach Boys. Very heavily Brian Wilson projects. And see you in the next video.